Hello and welcome back to another MiniMotorways video. I'm SWAMPMONK, and today we're going to do something different. Stantin Gaming, another YouTuber, has released a challenge of his own. He's calling it the One Mall Challenge, and basically the rules are you allow one mall to spawn and none other. If another mall spawns, it's game over. You feed as many houses into that single mall as you can before the game fails. See how well you did, and we're going to give it a shot today. We're going to hop into Zurich because, based off of what he explained, the mountains take up a large amount of real estate of the map, and it makes it easier for us to block off the areas where a mall could potentially spawn. So the One Mall Challenge begins now. So right off the bat, we're going to wait for that pause button to appear. There it is. For whatever reason, it takes a couple seconds for it to come on the screen, and you can see here the size of our map is fairly small and taken up by mountains in the north, the east, and we have the river in the south. So we're gonna go ahead and just connect this up, and before we hit play we have to block off everywhere that a mall could spawn. Now, just to clarify, it's called the One Mall Challenge. Stantin Gaming calls these buildings malls. I refer to them as factories and then as buildings. I'm still trying to figure out what I prefer. But for the sake of this challenge, we're going to refer to it as a mall. A mall needs a total of 6 squares to spawn. That's a 2x3 section or a 2x3 rectangle. So everywhere that we see 6 spaces, we're going to block off with a diagonal road, like so. And it can very quickly take up all your roads, so we're going to be as systematic as we can and make sure that we're hitting every possible place that a mall could spawn, and I believe right here is also one. And then because we know that we're going to be only dealing with this single mall and we're already sort of tucked up in the corner here, we're going to block off all around it and give it the collar that I like to do. And as we draw roads, it's going to actually remove the need for some of these blocks, but just because I'm paranoid. Right, so I actually would have missed the fact that right down the center here is a perfect place for a mall to spawn. And that would have been the end of our game right there, so we're going to come in here as well and block off there. And I think that's all the spaces. Sometimes, oh no, and then one right here as well would have been an additional place for it. So it takes some time to sort of make sure you're not missing any areas, and that's what I think to be the actual challenge here, is making sure that something doesn't spawn in accidentally. As the game progresses, this map is going to expand, and we're going to have to constantly be checking it. So we're going to be paused more often than not, so it's not going to be the most exciting gameplay. It's kind of the exact opposite of the no pause challenge, which, you cannot pause at all, and the game happens at a really fast pace. But we're going to try to make this fun nevertheless. So now that we blocked off everywhere that a mall could spawn, we're going to let this rip. And every time we see something spawn in, we're going to pause it. And I apologize if that's a little boring to you, but we have to make sure we are as meticulous as we can be. The score to beat is 350, hoping to hit 500. And again, the hardest part about this is just watching that map. As it expands, we have to act appropriately. So 2 houses currently connected. Normally, I intentionally limit in the early game the amount of houses that I hook up to a mall because, as you can see down here, those cars are not being dispatched. And so there's no reason for there to be an intersection here. If the cars are not being used, you might as well put them on standby like so. In this instance, the One Mall Challenge is sort of a race to the end. We want to get as many cars into that mall as possible before we just can't hold on anymore. So I'm going to reconnect this like so and let it rip. You're going to see me constantly sort of cycle through the corners here. That's me checking to see if the map has expanded, because it does sneak up on us, and you will see it happen in live time. So we're at a whopping 4 commuters thus far. And hopefully we can get that number up as fast as possible. We don't want to keep you guys here all night. And I would say that this video is not not for the easily dizzy. Okay, let's make sure we keep this nice and clean. And there are no other areas where a mall could spawn, so a third house is welcome. I will say that in my test runs of this challenge, it appears to be the most difficult compared to the two that I so-called invented, the no pause challenge and the no upgrades challenge. Limiting different aspects of the game is definitely a fun way to improve the difficulty. Not that the game needs it. It is already a very difficult game, as anyone who plays probably knows, but we're slowly chipping away and trying to come up with the best strategy. And doing challenges like this, hopefully, will make us better at the regular game as well. Okay. So, just a quick little tip here. Rather than bring that house directly into our main artery here, we're going to combine it with this one. And the reason you would want to do that is because every time a car has to pass an intersection, like that, it's going to slow down, as you would in real life if you're a responsible driver. And so you want to limit the amount of times that a car is going to come in contact with an intersection like that. And as more houses spawn in, we're going to experiment with the way that we connect all the houses together and trying to make the best, most efficient way to the mall possible. Again, if another mall spawns in, it's game over for us, and we gotta go back to the very beginning. Alright, week 1 has passed, and we'll go ahead and take a tunnel. And the reason being is we're surrounded by 2 big mountains here. We might end up needing to route through them. So it's only a matter of time before we see this map expand, and we're going to want to be ready for it. Again, if you're confused on what we're doing, if you're just jumping in the middle of the video for whatever reason, we're doing Stantin Gaming's 1 mall challenge, and we can only allow this 1 mall to exist, and we're going to try to feed it as many commuters as possible before we fail. And I'll try not to repeat myself too often. Now look at that, boom. As I'm blabbing away, we have, I believe, that, and just to be certain, we'll do that as well. And then we can probably, just to be sure, just like that. I'm trying not to overdo. Yep, and here we have some more. Okay, so let's just respace these out. There would be one there, and then there would be one there or there. And I think that covers everything. As you saw in the beginning, sometimes it's actually easy to miss a potential spawning location, so I'm going to be extra careful. So far, everything's good. Of course, we're only at 25 commuters thus far, so it's going to be a slow game. And I'll do my best not to allow another mall to spawn in, because then we'll have just wasted everyone's time, won't we? Alright, so we have another house, so we're going to continue to add this to the same network like that. And I think, just to demonstrate my point, we're going to go ahead and bring it all down to one like that. But it might be better to enter more of the middle, like that. I'm not 100% sure that's the best way to do it, but we're experimenting here, so before we hit play, we're just going to check on the corners. So the reason that I connected all these up like that is we have, like I said earlier, one exit and entry point for this cluster of homes. And this gives us a nice long runway for the entrance, minus this guy kind of breaking up the pattern here, so that cars can get down right into the mall as fast as possible. And before we know it, this map is going to expand, so we want to be ready for it. Oops. And sometimes I'll just to be certain, kind of come in here and throw in a few tiny pieces. Can't do anything there. Should be good. You know what we could do? Potentially come in like that. Let's try that. I do wish there was some sort of chime to signify that the map has expanded, but I don't believe anything like that exists. We're almost done with week 2. So our main goal is to prevent congestion from happening at the entrance of the mall. That seems to be where later in the game these malls begin to fail, because there's just too many cars trying to enter at once. And I've never tried such a long runway into the building like this, and I'm hoping that this will be in our favor. Just gonna go up here and readjust these like so. Do one final check on the corners, and I think we're good to go. Alright, week 2, we're going to collect our roads. And since we're starting to expand to the southwest corner, let's get an additional bridge. Okay, and then here is a location. Sneaking in right there. Sneaking in here as well. I think that's it. They definitely don't make this easy. Of course, the game wasn't intended for this kind of challenge, but that's what makes it fun. And we are at 50. And everything seems to be doing well, as I would hope it would. Okay, we actually saw it expand right there. I wonder if we should just stay in this edit mode so we can see it open up like that. And it appears to actually have expanded on only one side. It's not expanding from the center out, but pushing in different directions, which is interesting. I actually didn't know that. So that will block off those. I think we can come in here like that. Oh, we have an additional house that came in. I wonder if there's any way. Yeah, we know what we should, because what else are we gonna do? We'll snake him through. We'll snake him like this. And so we're actually going to remove where it's connected there, because again, that will slow down the car. And so this will be the second house coming from that northern side of our network here, and I'm hoping that helps. Okay. Let's let it rip. Okay, so we have our first alert, which is not great, but I'm actually going to just even this out and bring a house up like that. And make sure I didn't create any spawn locations. Does not look like it. Okay. The moment you take your eyes off these borders, something will appear. So we're trying our best to be vigilant. And I imagine it's slightly annoying to watch me have to zoom in and out like this over and over again. But, well, you know what? Tough luck. Such is the nature of this challenge. Okay, I think that should do it. I notice I get nervous and start putting in more blocks than I need, and then I run out of roads as the map expands, so I do have to keep that in mind to be conservative. Okay, so we have all house. Oh, what in the world? Oh my god. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we failed. We're going to have to go back and watch that replay because, as you saw, I was checking constantly. And this is one of our roadblocks right there. And what happened was it expanded by one tile down and then immediately spawned in a mall. And not just a mall, but a high demand mall at that. So we only made it to 67, unfortunately, and we're going to have to call it there. That was my attempt at the one mall challenge. But you know what? That doesn't sit right with me. Why don't we we'll watch the video later. Let's just restart this. Okay, and there's our pause. I certainly liked our setup in the last game. I thought we had a shot at breaking the record, but we're gonna have to put our collar on and not pull down the notification bar. Okay, and we're off. This is not an easy challenge. At this point, I don't care what my score is. I just want to prevent an additional mall from spawning in. I'd rather fail early, knowing I gave it an honest shot here. So we know eventually we're going to want something kind of like this, with houses up here and over here, coming from each side of this mall and feeding it in. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like the T intersection is probably the best method that we have. I think we're just going to stay in the edit menu. I'm sure the noise of zooming in and out is kind of just a little annoying. And there we can see it expanded. Oh, we don't have roads. Well, let's get rid of these. Perhaps that is the trick, just to stay in the edit menu or edit mode where you see all of the tiles. Cool. Much needed. And let's get a traffic light, because I'm very keen to test out if they're useful at all. What happens if we just... Can you place one there? No, it has to be at an intersection. What if we put a fake intersection in? So, putting in a light like that acts as kind of like a stop sign. Or will it just stay green because no cars come that way? See? This is why we got to pay attention. Alright, just keep it in this mode. It's just, I prefer seeing the zoomed out version of the map, so I'm just going to have to get used to this. Yeah, it appears that light actually does nothing because it's only prompted to change if another car approaches. So we could do this. I don't know how much use it will be, but just to test out sort of staggering the traffic flow. And again, just to be sure, we'll put that there. All right, and now our mall is a high demand mall. I've seen a lot of people asking, how many cars or how many houses do you need to hook up to a building like this, and I don't know if there's one exact answer. It seems to fluctuate depending on the map. But I would say, as a general rule of thumb, I want to have at least 1, 2, 4, or 5 houses for a square structure. And then once it upgrades to a circle, probably around 5 to 8 should be enough. Again, don't hold me to that. I'm learning alongside you guys. But that's been my experience. I think if you go above 8, and obviously we're going to do that in this challenge, but it's just going to put so many cars on the road, you're really going to run into trouble. So I'm curious to know if less cars will be better. And I think since we haven't had any houses spawn in the western side of our map here, we're actually just going to round this out just to see if we can speed up the traffic a little bit. And maybe we'll try this. This close to removing the light, but for now we're going to keep it. I have a feeling we're going to go on alert soon. There it is. So, I don't think we have enough cars for this to really be an issue, so we're going to delete it. And honestly, we might as well just come in here, just like that. If we have more houses spawn, we'll think about readjusting that. We really should be doing all of our edits in pause, because as we saw in the last game, it only takes a single second for something to spawn in a spot it's allowed to spawn in. That map could expand and immediately trigger a new mall, so we have to be much more careful. And we're almost gonna be at week 3. Oh, we're on week 2. Guess I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll take the roads because we're gonna need to block off a bunch. As most of you know, I'm very early in my journey to content creation, so if you're liking the videos thus far, consider subscribing and hanging out with us at the subreddit r/MiniMotorways. It's a small community, but we're active. All right, you can see I'm just constantly scanning. Alright, we got something popping up here. Man, those really just sneak up on you. You don't even see it coming. At all. The silent killer of the map expanding. Okay. So we're at 50. I think our last game ended at what? 67 or something like that? So just gotta always be watching those corners. I think we're okay on the left here. We really should be watching the bottom and this corner up here. So yeah, it just expanded again. Okay, so we have our first house across the river. We have 3 houses on the house cluster on the right, so maybe we should just come down the river like that and join it like so. I would love to see a bridge like that in real life that just goes directly down the river. So we actually we're still on alert here with this facility, but there's really potentially nothing else we could do, so we're gonna keep letting that do its thing. Okay, the first area on the side of the mountain there. I do kind of find it slightly faster to sort of just jog in and out like that. But we physically see the map expand if we're in this mode. At least if we're looking at the right side. Okay, there it is. And for whatever reason, if you're just tuning in now and you're confused in what we're doing Stantin Gaming's one mall challenge. And that means we cannot let another mall spawn in. If we let one spawn in, we lose the game. So we're being very, very careful to make sure that we've hit and blocked off all potential spawning areas. And it is not easy. We have passed our last record, our last very weak record of 67. Okay, boom. And then just like that, we have expanded. And like I anticipated, this wasn't going to be the most riveting playthrough, but we are learning a lot as we do this. So that was the top, right? And I believe it was the right and then the bottom in that order. So if I am correct in my assumption, the west will expand next. If it does go in order, that would make this so much easier. Alright, now we're on week 3. We'll take the motorway just in case. I don't think we're going to need it. So we're just waiting for that left. Oh, it looks like I was wrong. Unfortunately, I was wrong. It did expand on the right. But at least if we keep track of it, we'll know, hey, that left side is not expanded in a while, so it's likely next. Okay, I think we covered everything. It makes me nervous when you look at the zoomed out version. You go, oh, no, we left a spot down here, but we actually have not expanded that far yet. Well, I'm looking forward to hitting 100, so long as I don't make any big goofs again. Nope, and then there it is, like we said. And if you are trying this challenge, there is some utility to putting at least a single road like that, because had I not had anything there, something could have spawned there immediately, as we saw in the last game. So wherever you can fit a road, even if it's not at that current time able to spawn something, it could very likely become one in the future. Like something like that, you know? Just in case this northern border pops up by 1, that's a perfect spot. There'll be 6 spaces right there. And like I said, I'd rather have the map fail. I think the bottom is going to be the next place to expand, so I'd rather have this map fail than have another mall spawn in. Okay, so it expanded over here again. So it does appear to be quite random. At least we have enough roads. We have enough roads to go around, and just to be sure, because that got us last time, just throw these in here. I'm paranoid now. Yeah, and while I kind of... There it is. That's what we were talking about. So, just to demonstrate this again, I think we would have been protected with our current layout, but all it takes is that, and a mall could have spawned in. So we're going to continue to drag these up. And yeah, like I said over here, that would have been a prime location. Okay, that's what got us last time. Something spawned right here. And we're just about to hit 100. Really, the safest way to play is to hit play, let it run for about a half a day, and then pause it again. Okay, so we're at a whopping 100 points. And again, I don't blame you if you skip through this video. It's not the most entertaining gameplay to watch. I'll be sure to include timestamps of the points. Say like 100, 200 if we're so lucky. Or maybe like the first 50 and so on. And oh, we definitely beat our last score. This guy is struggling. I think at this point we're just going to drag him down. I'm surprised we actually haven't got any more houses to come in. Okay, just making sure. There it is. Perhaps when I watch the video back I'll be able to tell, but as I'm playing it's really hard to gauge what kind of rate it's expanding at. We don't need to waste that many roads. Alright, so clearly our current system isn't working, so maybe we should just bring these all in. Like so. Just eliminate that fork altogether. That way the cars will merge sooner than later. Let's give that a shot. Okay, here we go. This is the help that we need. And we'll make sure we come up here. Push these outer blocks out. Okay. All right. What should we do here? I guess just come straight across. Oh, we actually ran out of roads. Well, we can take some. Oh, we don't have a bridge. Silly us. I thought we did. Now, a lot of times when you have a motorway, you're tempted to just bring it straight to the entrance. And I'm torn on what to do here, because my first thought is, well, just connect it there to here. We also could do something like just before the entrance. It's hard to say. I think we're just going to keep everything flowing from one direction. Like that. Put some of our space savers up here. Yeah, I guess we don't really need all these roads in here, huh? Make sure we don't screw this up. That looks good. Okay, so that motorway is causing some backups. Let's redo this. Well, we'll have it kind of come in like so. I think we're just gonna... Whoops, we're making a mess here. Let's fix this. We have to wait for that to respawn now, unfortunately. Hopefully that's not the death of us. I meant to just move it, not delete it. And we have to let real time play out for those cars to finish their path so we can get that motorway back. That might have been a big mistake for us. Obviously you can see we're having a lot of trouble up here. Oh. Almost doubled our last score, so that's good. I think one of my best test runs, it was I think I was at like 150 or something before I had them all spawn in, and it was actually up in this top right corner here. Oops, didn't mean to hit low power mode, but we're gonna rock with it. All right, well here's some help. Let's just throw that guy in there. It's not over yet, folks. I've seen a mall come back from the very brink of death. The whole disc was red, and I had to go all the way back to the alert turning off. And I only saw it once, but it did happen. I'm very paranoid that something's going to sneak up on us. Do we have our motorway back yet? No, we don't. Alright, so we can now take these, slide those out. And we have a lot of roads, so we might as well just put these safeties in. Because we know if it expands by 1 each time, that we have to just prevent any of the edges from being exposed. That might be one of the best strategies moving forward, is just to make sure that a single edge is exposed. Okay, so we're just waiting for that motorway to come back. We got at least one of the 4 cars traveling back. We're at 130 cars. And we had a house spawn way up there. I say we try to make this work. Let's get the most direct path we can. I'll have a snake in like that. Oh, that is way up there, is it? Okay, make sure we didn't leave any areas for the malls to spawn. Here is our anticipated expansion. Takes a little bit of time to come back here and break this down. That should do the trick, and again we have to make sure we put our safeties in. And luckily we have enough roads to do those. Yeah, so right there is like absolutely somewhere that would end us if we weren't careful. And again up here, we're actually going to run out of roads, I think. Very slow, tedious challenge. But we appreciate Stantin Gaming anyways for throwing this out there. Oh, we didn't actually finish connecting. And we're still waiting for that motorway to come back. Look at that. No chill. Just keeps hammering us with the expansion. It does feel like the rate's accelerating, doesn't it? I think we've developed at least a decent strategy here with those safeties. We prevent anything from surprising us like we did the first game. So as long as we stay on top of where it's expanding, it really comes down to, can these cars handle this? And we have our motorway back, so I suggest we just come in like this. And we'll try that. Okay. Up here. Okay, so now we have a traffic jam. We're gonna try something different. Gotta steal some of these. I guess we do waste tiles like that, so. I don't like how it's getting all congested here, so I'm gonna break one of my rules. This is a unique scenario. I don't know what I'm doing per se, so let's do something like this. That way that motorway can come straight into the building. Hopefully that's not too aggressive of a turn. I'm happy to know that we have essentially figured out how to stop those malls from surprising us, though, because that is really frustrating. So long as you don't have a weird mistake in the middle, you can kind of keep... There we go. You can keep tabs on the expansion by having these safeties in, like so. And I suppose we should learn our lesson and stop just dragging those, because you waste roads like that. Something I've noticed as I play, when you're going to erase a road, you actually have to kind of drag either your cursor or finger. If you try to just to tap a road, it zooms back out sometimes, and that can be frustrating. Can we make this a little smarter? Paranoid that I'm gonna screw something up here. We're running low on roads, huh? Looks like the best pattern is to have a dash, a safety, and then a dash. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to cover all of your... Oh, Jesus. Apologies for the zoom in, zoom out. Something like that. But you have to make sure you have additional roads, you know, a couple tiles in, or else you're going to screw yourself over. It would be nice to get 40 more roads. Yeah, so we have to put all these safeties up as well. How's this guy doing? Not great, but we're still holding on. The good thing about the roads that we're placing, so long as a car hasn't pathed on it or has it reserved, you can delete it right away. You'll notice as I go to delete roads, like down here, they're not going to disappear until a car is done traveling on it. Yeah, so we're in desperate need of some roads. We can come in here and salvage some of the redundancy in here. It's much easier and quicker to just drag that line, but you do end up wasting a road every other. I will not forgive myself if I create a problem that I originally had taken care of, so we're being extra careful. What a mess this map is, huh? Yeah, we have to put these safeties up. Just like that. Alright, 10 years later, the roads have adjusted. I'm still not loving this. Not loving it at all. It's really hard to know what the best strategy is here. Well, we're at a 162. 162 and counting. Well, I'm not optimistic about this timer here. It's a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. Oh, thank goodness. We needed these roads bad. Well, I think we'll be lucky if we hit 200. Cars are going in and out. It might just be that we've ramped up demand so much by isolating. Yeah, it's just going to keep going, is it? Well, we've come this far, so we'll just move our safeties. What? I was fairly confident that as long as we kept the malls from spawning, that we'd probably be able to maintain demand, but it's really hard to gauge how many cars are needed because we're really breaking the game by doing this. And if you've tried this yourself, you learn that the game sort of punishes you for trying to manipulate the map in such a way. We'll see if this is the end of us. Just keeps sliding up little by little. And I think this is going to be it. We tried so hard. Well, yeah, let's just, since this is pretty much the end, let's just kind of speed up the damage here. Can we hit 200? It'd be nice to hit 200. It's gonna stop just shy of it just to spite me. It's like, man, those cars you could step on it a little bit, could you? 195. Oof. What a wild ride that was. Well, here's what we learned. The map expands at one tile randomly in one direction. So as long as you have roads touching the edge of the map, you're unlikely to be surprised. So long as you didn't have a gap in your roadblocks that are in the center of the map. We've learned that no matter how many houses you throw at an upgraded building, it still can fail. There might have been a better way to route these cars in. I prefer to have them come from like a left and a right or east and a west direction. And now I'm regretting not trying that. You know, the old T. But I think we gave it a valiant effort. We certainly more than doubled our score. And I didn't even realize that there were 2 houses that we had missed. But nevertheless, thanks for watching. This has been SWAMPMONK's attempt at Stantin Gaming's One Mall Challenge. Feel free to give it a shot, although I think you can see here it's a grueling process. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.